Nobody is safe, especially not the kids. Let's talk about 10 wrestlers who destroyed kids. Sasha Banks has had her fair share of beef with kids over the years. One of the most notable ones is when she made a little girl cry during her Iron Woman match against Bayley in NXT. Around this time, Bayley was at the peak of her babyface run. She was running around, hugging people, and quickly became a fan favorite. Her biggest fan was a little girl named Izzy. And so during a match between the two, Sasha Banks found the perfect opportunity to strike. While ruthlessly beating up Bayley, Banks got in the face of Izzy, who was already crying at this point because her hero was taking a pretty bad beatdown. Sasha then yanked her ribbon off of her head, and that really made the young fan completely lose it. Izzy was seen bawling her eyes out while her father had to comfort her. Sasha Banks is so savage that she really threw that ribbon right back at them with full force. I don't think Goldberg's son should ever show up to WWE programming after getting destroyed by Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. Last summer, Goldberg challenged Bobby Lashley for the WWE title at the biggest pay-per-view of the summer. Goldberg's son, Gage, was in attendance supporting his father for the big match. The match eventually ended when Goldberg was unable to compete anymore because he had an injury that he suffered throughout the bouts. That did not stop Lashley from using a steel chair to inflict some more pain and damage to his opponent. Goldberg's 15-year-old kid wasn't going to just sit around and let this happen. No, he hopped in the ring and jumped on Bobby's back before getting annihilated by Bobby Lashley. The young kid was put in the hurt lock for a good minute or so. Bobby Lashley literally rocked a kid. However, this is the WWE and you don't take this to court. Instead, Goldberg got the best revenge, and that was kicking his ass at the next pay-per-view. 2005, Eddie Guerrero might have been one of the most sick and sadistic wrestlers of all time. After becoming a bad guy in that year, he went on to have one of the most personal feuds in WWE history with his former best friend, Rey Mysterio. Eddie Guerrero supposedly revealed a secret that he was the biological father of Dominic Mysterio.
Rey is not your father! I'm your father, Dominic!
What followed after was a 30-minute segment on SmackDown where Guerrero acts like a lunatic that makes the child cry. The two were then put in a ladder match with the winner getting custody over Dominic Mysterio. You could definitely classify this as some childhood trauma. Eddie literally destroyed little Dom's mind. The Miz is easily one of the most consistent heels of the past decade. There aren't too many people that have done a better job at pissing off fans more than The Miz. And that is very evident in 2010 when he became the WWE Champion. The Miz cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase against Randy Orton that shocked wrestling fans around the world. One fan in attendance was very unhappy about this, and she's actually known as the Angry Miz Girl. I don't know about you, but I would hate to have that as my nickname. Anyways, Angry Miz Girl was furious and her reaction became iconic that year, and it was such a good reaction that she won a WWE Slammy for Fan Reaction of the Year. When accepting her award, The Miz came out, took her trophy, and mocked her reaction. Like, come on bro, that was mean for no reason. Brock Lesnar is one scary looking dude. Not only that, but he's also really rude. Heath Slater found that out the hard way. In 2016, Heath Slater was on a quest to get a contract from either Raw or SmackDown. It didn't matter which brand it was. Slater just needed a job for his kids. He interrupted a Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar promo because Heath was determined to beat Brock Lesnar in a match to earn himself a contract. The challenge was set, but this did not go well with Brock Lesnar. He grabbed the microphone and had this to say.
I don't give a shit about your kids.
As you can see, Brock Lesnar does not care about anyone's kids. The Beast collectively destroyed every single one of Heath Slater's kids with that comment alone. He then proceeded to destroy Slater by sending him to Suplex City. You won't get any sympathy from Brock Lesnar even if it involves your kids. Alberto Del Rio does not have the best reputation in the WWE. It doesn't help that he made a little girl cry at a live event. When entering the ring, he noticed a sign that he didn't like too much, so Del Rio grabbed the poster and completely tore it in half. The dude was even laughing about the entire situation, and that's how you know you were sick. The young girl immediately began to cry because he destroyed her hard work. Being the good guy he is, Dolph Ziggler came to her aid and gave her a hug, promising that he would kick his ass for her. I'm sure she hasn't forgotten that moment. Triple H accidentally destroyed a kid, making him cry during a match on Monday Night Raw. Triple H was sitting ringside with Stephanie McMahon during a match, and a little kid behind him was a huge fan and constantly chanted his name throughout the night. Triple H tried to remain in character and continue to play his heel persona, telling him to quit messing with him and that he was just trying to do his job, and that's when the kid began to cry once his hero said that. Triple H actually broke character and consoled the young fan because he felt bad. Although he did destroy him, he kind of made up for it a little bit. Ever since turning heel a couple years ago, Roman Reigns has become one of WWE's greatest villains. The Tribal Chief recently made a bunch of children cry on TV after beating down RK Bro. I've never seen so many kids cry in such a long time in WWE. Anyways, that's not the specific moment that I want to talk about, even though that's pretty good itself. Roman Reigns got into beef with a 2-year-old at a WWE live event. It all started when the baby began to mean mug Roman Reigns. It even shocked the undisputed champion. Roman Reigns got his revenge and eventually mean mugged the kid back. It was a fun moment, but it showed that you should not mess with Roman Reigns, not even if you're just a 2-year-old baby. Sasha Banks earns a second spot on this list. As you can see, the lady is straight up savage. In 2019, Banks and Bayley were in a feud with Lacey Evans. On an episode of SmackDown, Lacey's child was sitting at ringside. Sasha Banks decided that she wanted to terrorize another child, and so when she was beating up Lacey Evans right in front of her daughter, Banks got in the child's face and began to mock her. Sasha was expecting her to cry though, but we got a totally different reaction. Lacey's kid was trying to swing at Sasha Banks. You could tell that Evans raised a tough cookie. Nobody is going to mess with her in the future, and she might get to finally lay her hands on Banks one day if she ever decides to become a wrestler. The Rock vs. John Cena was one of the greatest build-ups in wrestling history. The WWE set up this match a year in advance and produced some of the best moments to get the people excited for it. On one episode of Raw, The Rock was featured on a segment with a young John Cena fan. Dwayne made fun of him plenty of times, but the best bit was when he asked him how he felt and he delivered his signature,
It doesn't matter how it makes you feel.
The child began to cry, and The Rock even gave him a John Cena shirt to cry on. It was a genius and hilarious moment for everyone but that kid. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.